Welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show on 94.7 The Pulse. Music, interviews, news, and, well, Two Blokes Chatting. Now, here are the two blokes.
'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I've breathed the mountain air, man. I've travelled, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. Been to Tullamore, Seymour, Lismore, Mooloolaba, Nambour, Rochester, Kilmore, Marillaba, Birdsville, Emmaville, Wallaville, Connemara, Connemara, Strathround, Proserpine, Alladala, Darwin, Gingin, Nilliquin, Muckilla, Wallumbilla, Bougainville, Cumberland, Ramacilla. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man.
Yeah, well, we've been everywhere, man. And today we're going up to Baringhup in central Victoria. Graham Pratt, good morning.
Good morning, Neil. How are you?
Doing very well indeed. Thank you. The other voice you'll hear, you've already spoken to, the great man Rob Cameron.
Okay.
And Rob asked a question that was, most instructive, probably not asked in the way that you would ask on the radio, so I'll ask it differently. Whereabouts on the map would we find Baringhup?
Well, firstly, I'd like to say very nice of you to reach out and touch somebody.
Thank you very much. Yes. You've been working right for the last 5 minutes, haven't you, while you were listening to that song?
I felt there's a line.
Yes, no, well played, sir.
Yeah, beautiful downtown Baringhup is probably best described as about 10 kilometres from Malden in central Victoria, which is about 25 k's from Castlemaine, or Castlemaine. Castle, good. And in the other direction, about 25 kilometres from Maryborough.
So right literally in the heart of central Victoria.
Yeah, just we're in the Mount Alexander Shire, and I think just outside the border towards Bendigo of the Shire is actually the geographic centre of Victoria.
So have you always been there, Graham, or has your work taken you there?
Actually, no, none of those took me here.
Excellent. Well, we'll move on to the next question then.
Why are you in Baringhup, Graham?
Sorry, say again?
Why are you there then?
Bit of a story. We ended up grew up in Melbourne, but we ended up in Queensland in Brisbane for 20 odd years, and one day I drove home from work and said, I'm done with this and we're going to travel around Australia. And anyway, we did that for about 12 months, and my daughter got married and moved to Bendigo, which is about 45 kilometres down the road. So we thought, well, we better put down roots somewhere. And Baringhup was a nice, quiet, tree change location.
Now, being that this show is a little bit sport-focused, and also the next show is very sport-focused, given it's called Sports Fix, we should probably just drop into the fact that you've had a bit to do with football in Queensland, also in the VFL, and there's someone else called Pratt who is well known to you, who is currently the coach of the AFLW side for West Coast.
Actually, he is no longer the AFLW, the West Coast. They've dragged him back into the main system, and after last night, I suspect that
he'll be playing on the half-forward flank next Saturday.
Yeah, he'd rather keep a secret.
We are talking Daniel Pratt, who played lots and lots of games for North Melbourne, played a few up in Brisbane as well, and was meant to be the captain of the Box Hill Premiership side, but a hamstring injury kept him out.
Yeah, that's true, which was disappointing to him and the family that didn't happen, but I guess one of the things that came out of that is that the coach, Damien Carroll, did the, what's the Western Bulldogs guy now? He did the...
Luke Beveridge?
He did the passing over of the coaching medal to Daniel on the stage.
Yep.
Right at the game, which I think got Luke Beveridge to do the same thing to Robert Murphy a couple of years later.
Damien Carroll is one of the nicest, most generous people you'll ever meet in football. We'll take that one up another conversation another time. But your involvement in footy in Queensland?
We moved up there in the late 80s, and I got involved firstly with junior footy up there, was two boys playing, and then ended up in development footy with the under-16, under-18 program up there, and then ended up coaching at, or assistant coaching at the Northern Eagles, or Zilmere Eagles as it then became known, and a young man that you'd probably know, Murray Davis, was the senior coach there that year, who's now assistant at Brisbane Lions.
He is indeed, yes. And so that was Quaffle?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. And then upon your return to Victoria, a role in the VFL?
Yeah, got a role in the VFL. I guess I was living locally. I ended up having a role with the Bendigo Bombers / Bendigo Gold for about 3 years, and that introduced me to a radio group out of Box Hill.
Yes, we have called games together, Graham and I, hence the repartee. So we often, we've obviously been able to go off a bit of a tangent. What do folk in Baringhup do? Just to go back to that, the reason we originally called?
Yeah, well, Baringhup's a very, very small, I don't know what you could call it, a village. Would you call it a village? We don't have much. We have a very big lake, reservoir. We have a caravan park with a general store and about 200 people. And it's the area is predominantly grazing and sheep. But the Baringhup, whatever it is, village, does have about, 50 residential houses in a little block here. And our nearest town is Malden, 10 kilometres away. Or if we want to go to the Big Smoke, we can go to Maryborough.
Graham, you're a really good example of something that we bang on about here, but me particularly, I've been doing it a long time. When you grow up in a country town and that community and the sporting clubs, it is rich and it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And I just think that there's so many people who are probably trapped in capital cities that are going through a pretty mundane sort of a life, fighting with traffic lights and all things, that they just don't know the magic of small communities. So you've had Melbourne and Brisbane most of your life. Just try and encourage people out of Melbourne to come out and experience what you've experienced.
Oh, look, I think we're actually seeing that at the moment, Rob, or we have done. COVID's sent a lot of people out to the country. And I think everybody who comes to places like Malden, which is a historic town anyway, and has been left very much as it was in the 1850s, is a beautiful place and there's a lot going on. And everybody who comes up just says how lucky we are to be living up this part of the world.
And I guess not too far away from Melbourne, if you need to get down there and do those sorts of things. You've got Bendigo not very far away as well. It really is the best of both worlds, is it not?
Oh, it is, absolutely. It's 25 k's to Castlemaine, 25 k's to Maryborough, 40 to Bendigo. So if you need something, you can get there very, very quickly. And, on the Calder Freeway, it's 2 hours, including a stop at the Calder BP's. Not doing an ad.
No, we don't do ads here. We do sponsorship announcements.
Yeah, and for a coffee, and you're in Melbourne, or where I grew up down in Edithvale, within 2 hours.
Yeah, Rob's just pressed the wrong button next door and made it difficult for us to hear you. That's okay. No, you've come back now. It sounds like the ideal world, and of course, with 50 houses in the town, how ironic that I know 2 people who live in those 50 houses.
You do. And one apparently was a primary school teacher of yours, and she still hasn't got over that.
She moved to Baringhup as therapy, as I understand. Yes, she was my prep teacher, Mrs. Dalton. So hello to Joan if she's having a listen. And Graham, we are going to let you go and do what you do on a Saturday as well, because it's that time of the day for us to start playing some music and get out of here.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to give you some really good news. One good thing about Baringhup.
Yep, do it.
The second thing is some of you may or may not have heard of a book called Romulus, My Father.
Yes.
It was a movie starring Eric Bana. Raymond Gator, who wrote that book and was the son of Romulus, this all happened around Baringhup.
Oh, okay.
And Raymond spends half his time in the UK and the other half of his year here in Baringhup.
Nice.
Obviously is well known and well loved in the area, and it's an amazing story about an amazing personality when you think what he went through as a young child. So
was the film filmed around there?
Yes, it was. Malden, here in Baringhup, they rebuilt the original house for the movie, and also Maryborough, where a lot of the action took place. So it was all done locally. So he's one of our very famous locals, if you like,
along with Graham Pratt.
Oh, yeah.
GP, great to have a chat to you. Good to catch up yesterday and also to catch up with you on the wireless today. We'll chat again real soon. Next time I'm up in your neck of the woods.
Look forward to it, Neil, and nice to talk to you too, Rob.
Thanks, Graham.
All the very best. There he is, Graham Pratt, up at Baringhup in central Victoria.